Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, it is May 25th, Sunday. Tomorrow is Memorial Day, so the markets are closed. Let's look at the 10 tickers that we've been tracking over the past few weeks. The first one on deck is SPY. This tracks the S&P 500, and you can see here that my annotations from Wednesday were a likely bounce off the 200-day moving average here with a resumption of higher prices and likely a retest of all-time highs. From where we are now to all-time highs would be about just over a 6% move. I still think that the retest is coming. After that, you can see my further prediction of lower prices. Likely what will happen is when we retest all-time highs, there will be bearish divergence that shows up and appears here. I'm just anticipating that. So right now, no trade for the SPY. Let's wait until price gets up to here so that you can trade with the sharks. Likely they will be selling. And we'll have to see after that what will happen if prices will get down here to close the gap even further down in this 520 range. Heading to triple Qs. Triple Qs, the setup is the same as the SPY. You can see that it's likely an entry into the gap here. I did say last Wednesday that maybe it'll take a bounce off the gap. It did, a slight bounce, you can see that. But really there's no conviction either direction. We'll just kind of have to see. If we switch to the hourly here, what do we see? Is there any bullish divergence to show that it will continue to bounce and use this upper part of the gap as a support? I don't see that down here. So really, maybe I'll annotate it like this. So let's switch back to the daily. I think the behavior will be the same. Price will go down, hit the 200-day, somewhere down here, bounce up, test all-time highs before further low prices for the triple Qs. Switching to the FTSE, which is the UK index here. Behavior is as expected. I was anticipating that price will get to the purple trend line resistance. And you can see on Friday's price action, the buyers came in and bought price up. Right? It was down as low as 8,600, and they bought it back up before the end of the day. I think it will retest all-time highs. And we're going to observe this very carefully. Okay, we're going to see if there's any more bearish divergence appearing. Okay, and the move to get up there is about, what is this? This is about, all right, 2.5%. Not much further for the FTSE to get up there. Let's switch to the gold play. GDX. Okay, so my prediction for GDX was I thought it would hit this as resistance here. This 49, this $50 point would be resistance. In fact, it didn't do that. They gapped it above it. So that's something we have a hard time predicting, is how price will behave before hours and after hours, pre-market and after-market. After-market, we have a little bit of the ability to trade in the aftermarkets, but in the pre-markets, it's a little bit trickier. So there is a gap. So I'm gonna, yes, it gap filled here. Okay, so this is no longer in play. I'm gonna move this up to show the gap that was created on Friday. So the gap that was created on Friday is like this. So the question is, what is price gonna do? All right, give me a second here. Clean this up. And then we'll take a look. So the gap that was created on Friday, there you go. Okay. So what do I see? I'm checking here on the RSI. There's no bearish divergence appearing. The volume that came in on Friday, 24 million shares, it's kind of average. You can kind of see how price has been behaving. Excuse me, volume has been behaving here. It's not super low. It's just, yeah, it's kind of what GDX kind of does. So the question is there further upside between where we are now and the resistance up ahead? About a 6.5% move. And I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that it will continue to move up. I mean, not all-time high, excuse me. The highs for this year is right here, the $53 range. Will it test the 53, make a double top? It's possible. So let's use that as a play. So the double top would be about here. Okay, I'm going to clone this one, move it over to just help you see it as a double top. So it's possible. Double top might happen, and then further low prices for GDX. I think GDX is meant for lower prices. Okay, so there you go. So the question is, let's see, let's take a look at this. Yeah, so I think what will happen is it'll come up here, create an equal high for this year or close to it. Ideally, it would poke above it a little bit. I would like it to be above it a little bit for the sharks to resume selling. Yeah, so that would be the play. I'd say it'll be a high for this year and then resume selling because the divergence would be down here. That's what I'm looking for. I'm just going to annotate it like this, not with the color, right? A color would be to say that it is, in fact, a divergence, but I'll kind of make it like that to say that's what I'm looking for. Here, let's even make it more different. That's a prediction. So my prediction is price will come up, create a high for this year over here with that divergence going down. Okay. Now I did show, you can see this little red annotation here. That was on the hourly. I'll zoom in to show you. So on the hourly, you can see some bearish divergence on the hourly. Okay. But it's not in play on the daily yet. And that's why my annotation is with this black line here, black dash line. Okay, that's GDX. Let's switch over to MicroStrategy Bitcoin play. This one's behaving as I predicted. So my annotation was resistance here, further low prices. Sure enough, on Friday, they gapped it down a little bit and then sold it down through the rest of the day. The volume isn't crazy, so there's no super conviction yet. That's not a trade. But I think if it comes back and hits this red line here, this 3, let's see, what is this? What is this point? This is about 396. If it hits that, that would be, I would use that as resistance for further low prices. So let me go ahead and annotate it like that. I'm going to take this. Actually, I'll just grab this. Grab this one, stick it right here. Okay, that's resistance for a short. So if you can get that as a short, down to the 2631, excuse me, down to this 200 moving day, moving average, it's about a 26% move. Yeah, that's MicroStrategy. Nike, I'm still in this trade long. I'm still in this trade long. It's not moving as quickly to my exit point up here. You can see my annotation right here. I'm going to move this line over here to say that I'm still in it. I expect it to bounce. Is it going to gap fill first? I don't see that it's going to fully gap fill, but if it does, I'm going to stay in it. I'm still in this trade, so I'm still in the green on the trade. It's just taking a little bit longer as I expected. Okay, my exit remains up here, and then I'll wait for it to get above this trend line, get above it for me to re-enter, looking to aim for this gap fill and then this 200-day up here. Okay, that's Nike. Switching to Microsoft, let's look at this one and take a little bit more time to talk about this gap down here. One of my subscribers asked, "Hey, John," and I appreciate that these questions come in. What about this gap here back in the 23 time frame, 23 May time frame? Let me just annotate it for everyone to see. Okay, so it's like that. And let's zoom in. It's like make sure we annotate it a little bit more clearly. And excuse me as I clean it up. Maybe like that. All right, thereabouts. I can clean it up afterwards. Let's go to this color. All right. What's the likelihood, that was the question, that Microsoft would get all the way down here? Okay, so I just switched to the weekly just to give us some perspective here. So on the weekly, that's the weekly view. So right now, Microsoft is up here. I'm anticipating that it will come down and fill this gap up here. And the question is whether it will come all the way down here. So we've got definite bearish divergence on the weekly here compared to price action up here. How far is that and how long will it take? You know, I'm not an options player, so I can't give you that time frame, gut feel on time frame. But I think so is it going to get down there? Well, I think it will get down here first. You see the momentum change, okay? And you can see that on the hourly, it was very definite RSI momentum change. You can see here, okay, in the hourly, as compared to price, right? Price action, upward channel, RSI on the hourly, definite downward move. I can extend this a bit to there. Okay. Question is, what is it going to do in the longer term, in the weekly time frame? I think if it gets under the 200-day and fills this gap, the first real area of test would be here, this 349, this zone here. And if it breaks underneath that zone, it's kind of thin. You can see the big gaps in the price points. So it's possible. I think we'd have to wait to permit price to get down to this 345 zone underneath it. And we'll have to review whether or not it gets all the way down here. Yeah, I can't say, because once it gets down to this 349 zone, there is a lot of memory there from a algorithm standpoint. They remember these points, and I think they'll use that as support. So it'll take a while. And likely, if it gets down to this point, what you'll have is lower lows from here to here, right? And that will highlight for us, show us, likely, you know, if it's down here, we'll have to see if there's any bullish divergence in RSI. Okay. So right now I can't say with conviction. It's too far out for me to give you a clear gut feel. Yeah, so no call for me on this gap fill down here. It's not in play yet. For me, it's not in play. I mean, there is this other gap here. If we're thinking about gaps, there's a gap here. You know, Microsoft isn't too gappy, not like Tesla. So this is the next gap after this one. And then this will be support, definitely a zone of support. So I'll just kind of highlight it here. This is a zone of support. I'll make it green. And yeah, this is a zone of support. So we'll have to pay attention for that. Anyway, further low prices for Microsoft in the weeks ahead. Let's go to NVDA. NVIDIA behaving as I annotated. Let me get rid of that. You can see I said, hey, it's likely going to come down, use the 200-day as support, and take a small bounce up, and then further low prices. So it's doing that. I'm going to move this a little bit further over here, just because it's just behaving. And all of this price action is based on the change in momentum of the RSI here. You can see it. It's very obvious. I'll make it like that. Okay. That was the signal that the sharks informed one another to get out, to sell. Okay, so prediction remains unchanged. Just follow the blue arrows. Okay, switch to Tesla. Tesla behavior as I had predicted. I'll just kind of move this over a little bit. The 200-day and this blue line here. But the behavior is as I expected. Okay, it'll come down, hit the 200-day. Use the upper edge of this gap as resistance, and then further low prices. And the signal was right here. Okay, sharks told one another, come on guys, let's sell. Let's switch to Palantir. Palantir price behavior, it's a little bit slow. It's going sideways a little bit. But my annotation and change in the call is unchanged. I still want an entry, but it's not where I want it yet. I want it up closer to this purple trend line. So I'll kind of go like this to make the annotation more clear for now. So the entry, I would like it up here. Yeah, get up closer to this resistance line before I take a short, because the sharks are going short. Right now, I'm not able to get the right entry. Some of you might say, well, why don't you take the entry here at this 125 point? I could, but I prefer it up here. I'm a little bit particular. So let's see. We'll give it a few days. See how it behaves. If it starts to show more bearishness, let's take a look. This is the hourly. At the 125 point, right? If there's more bearishness in the 125 point, then I'll take an entry. But to me, that's a big risk reward, because I don't know, it's a 7% up there to get to where I want the entry. 7% is a lot, so I'm going to wait. That's just the way I am. So no entry for me, but for the low prices for Palantir, that's still in play. Okay. And those are the tickers. So this week, it's only a 4-day trading week. Monday's a holiday, so you have all of Monday to have a think. If you want to take a long, you probably can't. I know some people say, hey, you can trade certain stocks because they are trading now 24 hours a day. I'm not tracking 24 hours a day stocks and how they move. That's the key thing. You have to watch your stocks, the ones that you want to trade, and see how they behave during the after hours and the pre-market. Because those are the times when price is manipulated a lot, right? The after markets is when you often have the stocks that do their earnings reports. They do their earnings report releases after hours or before hours. Stocks are manipulated heavily. So you have to really watch and be careful what you do. Anyway, it's Memorial Day tomorrow. Have a nice holiday. Good luck with your trades this week. Thanks for watching.